So the first video is up online by the time that you'll be, well, I say you will be if you watch my videos. Yep, powers up just fine. No problems, nice and easy, turn straight on. The wireless does work, although it's missing the aerial. The activity light obviously works. Both optical drives work. Well, they eject. I haven't tried any media software for anything yet to see if the inputs work, although I probably won't be doing that for a bit. It is fairly quiet. I'm very much surprised. Although it is loading a fair bit of stuff, obviously it needs the usual. Needs a good just a brushing out, dusting out, maybe some new thermal paste. Which leads me on to the current specs. Well, I'm quite surprised. I know he said it was a good one for its time. Well, if you remember my Fujitsu Siemens Amilo P, that was a Pentium D, but that was only a 3 or 3.2. Okay, it's running currently at 2.4, but that'll be obviously to power save and use less heat. But I mean, it's a 3.4 GHz Pentium D with 4 GB of RAM. Well, this will now become my new XP gaming rig, which the Fujitsu was going to be. And hopefully this shouldn't suffer the random board death. None of the capacitors look odd or anything. In fact, I probably will and won't give this as thorough clean out as I normally would. I think my compressed air will be used a bit more, rather than taking all the board out and everything just in case and leaving cables in as they are. It's running XP Media Center Edition with Service Pack 3, although it does have a recovery partition. So what I'll probably do is I'll just wipe it straight off to the recovery partition and let it reinstate it to exactly its HP spec, because there's nothing too different about that. It is fairly nice and responsive, even though it is disconnected, although it is trying to load something. What exactly it's trying to load, I'm not too sure. That would be why it's doing it. And apparently once it's just been installing from when it was last used. Some updates. May as well restart it then. This sound system, if some people, if you follow my videos, you may know I used to use the speakers in the Samsung monitor when the Samsung was over here, but obviously the Samsung wasn't very good for the Mac. When I had my PowerMax 7100 down, couldn't use it, didn't do the frequency. The neck, being a multi-sync, did. So that's why I've got that. And there's a great whopping dirty bit in my screen, and you can see it in the camera. There, do you see it? That's irritating. I'll have to clean that. Yeah, so the neck became the machine, the monitor, sorry, not for the machine. The monitor for my gaming and that lot on my older or other rigs. And I put the Samsung as a secondary monitor since it has the red line down the side of it on my main machine, which is okay because as a secondary monitor I use it for when I'm playing watching like time team and stuff, but messing around organising discs and stuff. That wasn't too painful. So yes, I'll probably reuse the factory software, bring it straight back to factory spec, run it from there, and it should be running. Let's find out. It probably is a Geforce 66. According to this, it's a HP Pavilion 061. It's got the correct date, and even slightly off time by about 10 minutes. Oh no, it's a Geforce 76GS, 512 mega RAM. And that's better than the 6000 range. Well, is it or isn't it? It's been a while. Obviously if you go by numbers, then yeah, the number's bigger, so it must be better. The 76GS is about comparable though with the general 6600. They're both mid-range cards, aren't they? And if I remember right, even the 76 was using some of the later 6000 range stuff. Who knows? All I know is I might actually be able to play through Starship Troopers properly, like I was intending to with the Fujitsu machine, before that thing went tits up. Because I haven't been able to play that since my Advent was running a GeForce card, and it is again now, but that's not a dual core system, and it was pretty laggy. And although it's an old game, it still looks pretty good, and with a dual core Pentium D, this was the intention, it should run pretty good, especially if it's at 3.4 GHz when it's going at full pelt. So ultimately I was quite happy with this machine. Nothing seems out of ordinary, so I'll just reinstate it and return it to factory. Any comments, just ask.